Okay, so good evening to all of you. Yeah, we're talking about the history of English literature, and so far we have covered the different eras. We were talking about the Elizabethan age, and in our last lecture, we have seen that how the poetry of the Elizabethan age has been flourished. So, as we just move forward and see that when we talk about the Elizabethan age, specifically in the realm of or in the context of specifically uh, in the context of drama, we know that the Elizabethan drama is very dominated genre at the time. Okay, as we know that the university beats had played an important role, and then William Shakespeare became the epitome of these all things. Okay, epitome of Elizabethan drama, let's say. So as we just go forward and try to find out these all things, drama was a genre till Elizabethan age. It was very inferior one. Okay, and after Elizabethan age also we can find that there is a too much glitches come in the development of the drama. The most powerful glitch in it, that is 1642's closing of the theaters. Okay, during the Puritan government, we have seen that theaters was closed, and it impact a lot on the development of the drama. So, before moving towards the specifically English drama, I would like to tell you, or I would like to discuss with you some factors which were associated with the drama. Okay, in that case, the first thing I would like to talk with, that is the origin of the drama. You can see in front of you um, here, as we have the PPT, we can find that um, there were several points which were highlighted. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about the actual Elizabethan drama today. We're going to talk about the Elizabethan drama surely, but first of all, we'll talk about the development of the drama. Then we can see that is the historians make the three different parts of the drama. First of all, it's a pre-Shakespearean drama, drama with Shakespeare, and drama after the Shakespeare. So we can see the importance of the Shakespeare in the realm of the drama. We all have an idea about it. But today we are neither going to talk about the Shakespeare nor going to talk about the Elizabethan drama. But we are going to talk about the development of the drama first. Okay. So the first thing I would like to ask you, that is, what do you mean by the drama? Drama? Yeah, most of us we played drama in everyday life. That's a different one. Yeah, we have different words associated with the drama, like dramatic people, uh, drama queen. Okay, then dramatic monologue, street plays. Okay, what is the plays and drama? What is the difference between the plays and drama? Do you find the difference between the plays and drama? What is the origin of the drama? Which are the things associated with the origin of the drama? Right, right, yes. So we are going to talk about these all things today only. That is, that's why I have given the name to the people. That is the development of the drama. So The word drama. Hope you can see the screen properly. Can you read the content from the screen, or I have to increase its font? I think this one is better. Yeah, the word drama, drama has its origin in the Greek word drain. Drain, drainage a drain? No, drain means to do. So drama has its origin in the Greek word called drain, which means to do, and the word scene comes from the Greek word scan, scanna. Okay, English. You know, three types of language. You know, types of English in India, specifically in Maharashtra. English, Minglish, English. English we all know. English, Hindi plus English. Minglish, Marathi plus English. Okay, so scanna. No, the word scan, which means to see. So the word drama has its origin in the Greek word called drain, which means to do, and the word scene comes from the Greek word scan, which means to see. Okay, so this is you probably first time you have read these words. Okay, what do you look for the for when you read or watch a play? Yeah, again, this is the question. What do you look for when you read or watch a play? Okay, you can replace play in now in today's scenario. You can replace play with the movie. So, what do you look for when you read or watch a play? Okay, and Aristotle suggested six focal points. So these are the six focal points which Aristotle suggested when you watch a play or read a. Okay. Uh, with regarding this, yeah. So the first focal point, that is mythos. The mythos is this is where all interpretation starts, the story and the plot, the narrative and the casualty behind it. That is the mythos. The first focal point he talks about, that is there is where all interpretation starts, the story and the plot, the narrative and the casualty behind it. Second thing is ethos. Think of the environment in which the play is written, the intellectual climate, the cultural setting, the costumes, the manners relevant to the play you are reading. Look again that thing. As we just move forward, mythos and ethos, but ethos is more powerful. As we talk about the mythos, this is where all interpretation starts, the story and the plot. That is the our first impression between. about that play, or into this scenario, I would consider it as a movie. Okay, so I would like to give the example of today's scenario. You probably have seen, or you can relate it. Okay, nowadays, if I'm not wrong, in last month only, there was a movie which was very trending. Okay, the name of the movie is Sanyara. Okay, hope you just got an idea about it. So in Sayyara. So I have seen some reels regarding it, where I've seen that the girls, specifically, yeah, the girls or the audience. I would, instead of girls, might be feminists come and they just beat me. So yeah, the audience. So what audience have done? Most of them I can see in this particular reel that they were crying. Okay, while watching the movie, they were crying. Yeah. So what is it? So as a student of history of literature, we can see towards it as in a different way. This is called as a catharsis. Okay. So catharsis is also, we can call it as a reaction to any drama or play, or let's say, or the movie. So ethos. When you talk about the ethos, think of the environment in which the play is written, the intellectual climate, the cultural settings, the customs, the manners relevant to the play you are reading. Look at, okay. So the manners relevant to the play you are reading. That is another important stuff. So most of the time when we just, I don't know whether you have studied it or not. Uh, let's say most of us, we have an idea about the play of William Shakespeare's, and one of his famous play, that is The Merchant of the Venice. Okay, very simple one comedy. So most of us, we can call it as tragic comedy also. So most of us have an idea about it. Most of us studied it. That's why I'm just giving you the example of the Merchant of Venice. The setting of Merchant of Venice is the bank of river. Smart logo. Okay, Venice. Hmm. Merchant of Venice. Venice City. So setting. Okay. Intellectual climate, we can see over there, that is, it was written against the or with the sorts of this, we can call it as Christianity on the one side and the Judaism, that is Jew on the other side. The clash between the Christianity and the Jew. So Merchant of Venice. Here we have, on the one hand we have Shylock. Okay. Antonio Bassanio on the other hand. Okay. So the intellectual setting I'm talking about, or the intellectual climate, it's a kind of climate where kind of trades going on, and they just want to show you the actual scenario of that particular era, where when Jewish people doing the money laundering, and these Christians, they were indulged in the trade. Okay, so this is the scene we have from the Merchant of Venice. The cultural setting, the custom, the manners relevant to the play you are reading, that's the, that's called as a ethos. Okay, ऍक्च्युली ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टी तुम्ही मास्टर्सच्या फर्स्ट इयरला तुम्हाला या गोष्टीबद्दल आयडिया असली पाहिजे, किंवा जास्तीत जास्त ग्रॅज्युएशनच्या लास्ट इयर पर्यंत. करू नका आता, तर आम्हाला कोणी शिकवलंच नाही, आम्हाला कोणी या गोष्टीबद्दल बोललंच नाही. डोंट डू. सेल्फ स्टडी नावाचा काहीतरी प्रकार असतो. आपण फक्त मार्क्ससाठी अभ्यास करणार लोक आहोत. The next one is Lexis. Yeah. So Lexis and Dinoia, have a look on it. Lexis and Dinoia. So what do you find in Lexis and Dinoia? Lexis, Lexis is, if you look at style, whether it is harsh, poetic, heavy-handed, or what kind of language is used. Is there a dialect or register? So these all things associate with the Lexis. Means we can call it as a uh, style of writing, Lexis, or the language used in this particular play, that is associated with the Lexis. Okay, the next one is Dinoia. So when we talk about the Dinoia itself, what is the emotion evoked in you? Okay, the catharsis which I have discussed right before some time. So what is the emotion evoked in you? Is there an ideology you can identify with? What are the feelings, the sentiments of the dramatist? Are they similar to yours? Look, so as we just go forward and found this kind of stuff. So what is the emotion evoked in you? Is there an ideology you can identify with? What are the feelings, the sentiments of the dramatist? So it's talking about the overall the view of the writer on the one hand, dramatist on the one hand, and what you are taking through it. Okay, or what is your interpretation? uh, Whatever you are trying to extract from that drama, whether it is the equal feeling of the dramatist and you. This is the thing, it talks about the dynamic. Okay, I don't know whether there is need to go this much deep or not, but still, yeah, it's my duty to tell you about this thing. Then opsis, this refer to an important element in drama, what you can see on the stage, the setting, the props, the costumes. When you read the play, you will have to imagine this. Look carefully at the stage directions. This will help you. So opsis is what we can call it. It's like the things which you used in which you can observe in your play. Okay. So the whatever props properties you use on the stage uh, to describe your drama, that is the one thing you sort of come under the point called opsis. Then melos. Melos, this integral part of drama. Music will again have to be imagined by you. So what kind of music, or let's say integral part of the drama? Music in somber music, delightful music. Okay, and its intention, on what time it was used, what is the motive behind it. These all things we have to observe. That comes under the called melos. So now I'm just going to give you an example, or a brief introduction to the different types of uh, not types, different dramas belong to the particular era, or that particular age, and how uh, they impacted the whole scenario of that particular drama or that particular age. Okay, the first thing, that is, you must have read about schools of drama, and it is helpful to know to which school of drama a play belongs. तर हे काय तुम्ही आम्हाला ड्रामा बद्दलच वरच्यावर माहिती आहे, स्कूल ऑफ ड्रामा काय तुम्ही बोलताय? But yeah, you have to go through it, you have to study it. We must remember that each school of drama has come into existence as a reaction to a previous school. As in all things, the old gives way to the new, which in its turn, given time, will also becoming old, give way to another new school or movement. Talk of movements of changes, we need to be familiar with the terms and concepts with labels. So, we just terms and concepts. What are the labels? We'll talk about it in brief. The first one is classical. What do you mean by classical drama? this one. Let's start with the term classical drama. So this refers to art form in accordance with the ancient Greek or Roman model. So first of all, classical drama is associated with the Greek or Roman model. Classical drama has its origin in religion and particularly in Greece. Drama grew out of the worship of Dionysus, the god of fertility. The 5th century BC, that is Archelaus timing minus 525 to minus 455 BC, is considered the high period of the Greek drama, that is the classical or Roman drama. This classical drama played an important role in the development of drama, as most of the dramatists of the later age, they have imitated the style of this classical drama, and they try to copy the classical values into their writings or in their drama. Next is the term neoclassical is applied to work done more recently, but in the classical style. It is applied to certain beliefs and practices of the European literary world of the 16th, 17th, and 18th century. In drama, neoclassicism implies a strict adherence to the Aristotelian precepts of the three unities of action, time, and place. The use of a chorus as an integral part of the whole to comment on, interpret, or share in action in an action, the avoidance of violence on stage, the use of only royal or noble characters in tragedy, and the use of language which is highly poetic and correct. So when you talk about the neoclassical drama, it's applied to the work done more recently, but in the classical style. That is, it's certain beliefs and practices of the European literary world of the 16th, 17th, and 18th century. So these people, they, um, what we can call it, they not only copied, but they try to follow the classical values in the writing, and whatever perception that Aristotle had given about the drama, what was the rules which was formed by the Aristotle in the drama. These people had tried to follow it their own, their particular, particularly in uh, in their writing. And these dramas, we can find the influence of the Aristotelian values and Aristotelian way of working. Okay, so that's why in these things, most of they have tried to apply uh, the three unities of action, time, and place. The use of chorus as an integral part of the whole to comment on, interpret, or share in an action, the orders of violence on stage, the use of only royal or noble characters in tragedy, and the use of language which is highly poetic and correct. So all goody things these people had used or tried to use in their drama. Then, through reaction to the rigid rules of this neoclassicism, was born romantic romanticism, a prominent movement in the 19th century. Romanticism, however, expressed itself more through the medium of poetry than through drama. Victor Hugo, in his preface to Cromwell in 1827, put forth these views on the romantic ideal and says that the only rule to be followed are the rules of nature. Yes, this is the very uh, what we can say common thing which we must have to do. Whatever rules made by the nature itself, we have to follow it in our day-to-day life as well as in our writings also, instead of copying any other writers. Okay, you can take the inspiration from the other writers, but you can't adhere to their rules always. You you can give a vocal point to your own instinct, to your own thoughts, and that that will play an important role in the development of the drama. The emphasis is on feeling rather than on thought. Yeah, this is the very important thing. In romantic literature, this is the one thing happens, that is the focus goes on feeling rather than thought. So, on the other hand, feelings, on the other hand, thoughts was the two important aspects of the drama. But romantic uh, dramatists who belongs to the romantic period, they have an emphasis on the feelings rather than thought, which which was expressed through the particular drama. Okay, so this is the one we have to keep in our mind. Under this label also falls the concept of well-made play popularized by the French playwright Eugene Scribe and Victorien Sardou. Okay, Victorien Sardou here, like in our commercial films, the playwright pit good against evil and virtue against vice. So that's we have seen in our commercials, specifically Bollywood movies. Virtues against vices and good against evil. The fight between these two is the major aspect. Needless to add, virtue triumph against all odds. The style of acting is bold, accompanied by these constant gestures and rhetorical speeches. The costumes indicate the social standing and the moral conditions of character. The scenery is spectacular. The atmosphere showing the audience the quality of voice or virtue, danger or safety. The emphasis is on efficient plot and a satisfied audience. So this we can call it as the features of romantic drama, and how its emphasis emphasize the minor things in this period. But as we talk about the romantic period drama, we can find that we must remember that is it was the 16th century, the century we are talking about right now. That is with Elizabethan drama, the English drama first made its presence felt. Okay, so as I told you, that is the 16th century, the Elizabethan drama, which we are going to study soon. It was the first time where the presence of English drama, uh, it was felt. Okay, it made its presence felt. The major figures are Christopher Marlowe. We'll go to discuss about his Ben Jonson, and yes, of course, we can't neglect the name William Shakespeare, who emerged as an as one of the greatest dramatists of all time. Greatest dramatist of all time. This is the thing I would like to underline, written in the comma into inverted comma. Okay, we all today will more about we'll talk about it uh, later, as I told you. But in the 17th century, we have John Webster again. John Webster, the Comet of Manners, which began with the Restoration, continued into the 18th century. Continued into the 18th century. Sorry. Um, 16th century drama, which considered as the starting point of the English drama. And as we move forward, we can see that is it impacts the uh, upcoming ages also. Okay, so as we talk about the classical, neoclassical, romantic, and then 16th century drama. As we move forward, we have uh, several modes of theatrical presentation. आता हा झाला ड्रामा. बट ड्रामा प्रेझेंट करताना आपण वेगवेगळे मूड्स असतात. मूड्स डिफरंट टाइप्स. ओके, कुठले टाइप्स वगैरे काय असतात त्याबद्दल पण बोलू. द फर्स्ट थिंग, actually we'll discuss it with the different ages. Associate, we'll talk about it with association with the different ages, different time frame, and how it has been changed from one era to another era. Hope you can just you understand me whatever I would like to convey here. So during the late 19th and early 20th century means modern drama. Drama took on different labels depending on the mode of presentation. Mode of presentation. Let us first look at realism. Realism. Just have a look on this one and we'll discuss it. Yeah. So let's first look at the realism. I think you people have an idea about these dif different types of isms used in a drama. So let us first look at realism. George Bernard Shaw, very big name in the realm of the mm, drama, let's say modern drama. George Bernard Shaw called the play of Scribe and Sarajevo mindless entertainment. The two French dramatists in the romantic moralistic tradition and inaugurated realism. The aim of the realist is to put a slice of life on the stage, and the first person to do this was Henry Gibson. Okay, so yeah, I'll come back to this point. But the aim of the realist is to put a slice of life on the stage. Means whatever happening in your day-to-day life, just putting it on the stage and give a strong message through it. This is the role of this realistic drama or the drama of the realism. And the first person who has do the same is the Henry Capson in A Doll's House in 1879 and Ghost in 1881. The realists avoid poetic language. The characters use the language of everyday life. Yeah. So when you talk about specifically the realist, their language was totally different. They use the realistic language, okay. And they avoid this poetic language in their writings, and they use day to day expression. आता जेव्हा आपण ह्याबद्दल बोलतो की काही गोष्टी आपल्याला जेव्हा कन्वे करायच्या असतात, रिअलिस्ट जे होते किंवा रिअलिझम जेव्हा आपण बोलतो इन द ड्रामा, दिस पीपल they have tried to, as I told you, to talk about the day-to-day problems and the realistic views of the life. So that's why these people they have used too much straightforwardness in their plays. Okay, a doll's house you might have an idea about, where we have the character of the Nora, and we can see that as she left her husband's home, it indicates the freedom of the woman, or it has given a strong message that whichever we have seen, that is the women are belongs to the home, they are very homesick, and they have to do the work which were associated with our home only, uh, the caring and nurturing her children. But when the question has been asked, or if the people just pointing out her nobility or her integrity, what she can do, that we can find in A Doll's House. Henry Gibson's play. One of the best play I would like to tell you, I would like to suggest you just go and read if you got the time. Okay. As I know that you people are very busy one, so you didn't find the time now. But as a student of literature, this thing must be happen. So yeah, the realists avoid this poetic language. Their characters use the language of everyday life. Realism. Okay. The realists try to put on stage what they can verify by observing ordinary real life. The same thing I have already told you in a different way. They're just talking about the day-to-day life, and whatever they observe to the day-to-day life, they just talk about it and they just put it on the stage. आता त्या केसमध्ये आता नावडेज जेव्हा आपण मूवीज बद्दल बोलतो, तर ड्रामा आपल्याकडे काही हे नाही आहेत, ट्रेंडिंग नाही आहेत तेवढे, लोक खूप कमी ड्रामा बघतात. बट या पीपल यूज टू सी दिस movies. So whatever trending, these people they just try to put it on the to their works out to their drama. So the same thing we can find is realistic people. What they have done, they just use their ordinary day-to-day life and problem or whatever they observe through this day-to-day life, they just put it on the stage to the play. They want their audience to be completely convinced of the reality of the world of the stage. To achieve this, John August Strindberg, another exponent of realism, avoided dividing his plays into acts, said that there were to be no visible musicians on the stage, and demanded a total blackout in the auditorium. He wanted nothing to distract the audience from being one with the play being performed on stage. So John August Strindberg, one of the famous playwright of the period, and he has done some experiments with his audience. So what he has done, just ask for total blackout in the auditorium. He just removed the musicians and he tried the focus of the audience to be on the stage. You know that Strindberg has played a very important American drama of particular period. You can go and have a read one play called a streetcar named Desire. So, खतरनाक नाम है, but yeah, you can see about it. It has the background of 1930 Great Depression of the America. आता ग्रेट डिप्रेशन म्हणजे काय, तर त्यांच्या इकॉनॉमीमध्ये खूप मंदी आली होती, जागतिक मंदी आली होती 1930च्या याच्यामध्ये. तर अमेरिकेमध्ये खूप जास्त लोक सफर झाले होते, त्यामुळे इट कॉल्ड ॲज द ग्रेट डिप्रेशन ऑफ द अमेरिका. ओके. आणि त्याच्याच अगोदर थोडे दिवस अगोदर लाईक इन 1919 or 1920 let's say, there was one movement which had implicated in the not only the America but in world literature, specifically in American and African context, the Harlem Renaissance. Harlem Renaissance. What is it? You go and have a look on it. For your current information, 2018च्या स्टेट एक्झाम मध्ये 17 किंवा 18 प्रॉब्ली 18च्या नेट एक्झाम मध्ये हार्लेम रेनाइसावर क्वेश्चन विचारण्यात आला आहे. ओके. My really was the one person. Then there was those who all those we can call them a black literature or the black writer. They were associated with the Harlem Renaissance आणि त्याच्या टोटली म्हणजे एक 10 ते 11 वर्षानंतर ग्रेट डिप्रेशन आला आणि त्यामध्ये हे जे जॉन स्टेनबॅग किंवा देर वर सेव्हरल रायटर्स, ड्रामाटिस्ट, they had played they had written some dramas, some novels which had given the realistic view of the life of the Americans at that time. Okay, so this all things we can find in the realism, that is mode of expression, sorry, mode of presentation. Mode of presentation. Drama. वाटतं तितकं सोपं शिकणं, पण तुम्हाला इंटरेस्ट असेल तर या सगळ्या गोष्टी आपल्याला आवडतात. ओके, द नेक्स्ट वन, हे हायलाइटेड पॉईंट त्याकरताच मी हायलाइट वेगवेगळ्या रंगामध्ये हायलाइट याच्याकरताच केले की त्याची इंटेन्सिटी कळावी किंवा म्हणजे जो टू द पॉइंट तुम्ही म्हणतो ना आपण, दॅट वी कॅन फाइंड. सो an offshoot of realism is naturalism. Naturalism, when in addition to realism, there is also a deterministic thesis in which a human being is a creature of circumstances and is not always directly responsible for what happens. This is a belief which states that the act of the event, natural events or social changes are settled and decided by earlier causes. John August Strindberg's Miss Julie is an example of the naturalistic drama. In naturalistic, would not the naturalist would not hesitate to show the senior side of life on stage. Thus, action in his Ghost deals with the subject like vulnerable disease. They naturally present a special angle view of real life. So, this is uh, the quote of 10, 10 back. Naturalism. Okay. In in the one line, I would call it as a act of God. Okay. So, as we just move forward in our life, and we see that is several things never happen because of us, because of our mistakes, or because of the decisions which we have made. Okay, but there are several things which I have written over here. That is, sometimes we find that human being is a creature of circumstances and is not always directly responsible for what happens. Okay, so this is a belief which states that the act of will, natural events or social changes are settled and decided by earlier causes. So the best example of it in nowadays we have seen the flood in the Punjab or the Himachal Pradesh of the states of the India. Okay, so if someone have written drama in this scenario, so we find a farmer who had um, just board in his farm. He can find that his farm was flourishing, his crops were growing, but suddenly what happened? Nature don't want to give that crop to that particular farmer, and suddenly we have flood kind of situation over there, and then serve it all. Okay, so this is called as the act of the will, natural event, or no, social changes are the different things. So act of the will or natural events. Again, the plane crash of the Ahmedabad. These people, it was, we can call, yeah, there were the different things that people say that it was the mistake of the pilots and all stuff. But when we just go and this new naturalism, we'll talk about it. Of the angle of naturalism, we can find that it's happened. People never thought about it, and it's happened. So, an offshoot of realism is naturalism, where the addition to realism we can find there is also a deterministic thesis in which we have this which a human being is a creature of circumstances and it's not always directly responsible for what happens. Okay, so as we just move forward and try to check out these things, we see that this is the belief which states that act of the will, natural events or social changes are settled and decided by earlier cause. So this is the natural. Hope you just getting my point. कळतंय, समजतंय. हे जर तुम्ही फर्स्ट टाइम ऐकत असाल तर थोडं थोडंच जास्त नाही थोडंच वेगळं वाटेल पण जर लक्ष देऊन ऐकलं वाचलं समजून घेतलं तर खूप सोपं जातं. एनी क्वेश्चन्स रिगार्डिंग दिस? कळतंय मी काय सांगतोय ते? त्याकरता मी ते एकदम हळूहळू पॉईंट घेतोय आणि अगेन्स्ट द विल म्हणजे एकाच्या अगेन्स्ट दुसरा घेतोय जेणेकरून कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन मध्ये लगेच कळते. हा, but I'm going to more of presentation. Hope you just getting my point. कळतंय? Okay, however, reaction against the theater of physiological realism and the ordinary speech and behavior was relentless throughout the 20th century. We shall see how the forces against against it themselves divided into symbolism and expressionism. So now, what is symbolism? We are aware of this use of symbola in poetry and symbola, symbol used in poetry and fiction. We are also aware of universal symbola, that is something concrete standing for something abstract. A red rose for love, white for purity. In our context, a garland for respect. So, but what is the symbolist mode of theatre? Let us first look at it at the basic level. So, suppose a wall is needed a particular place. The director has two options: either to do it realistically and have a wall as a stage prop, or to do it symbolically and make an actor stand for a wall. This wall can be removed easily, but just making the actor leave the stage. But at a deeper level, life could be represented as a dream, resulting in a more lyrical and imaginative state. Once again, the language becomes poetic and the stage set abstract. So, with the emphasis being on atmosphere and not local, ritualism and a unification of the arts, let's say uh, poetry, music, dance, are a symbolist ideal. The actors usually wear masks. The use of height and space, vertical and horizontal lines, lightning, and creating these elongated uh, shadows of all these techniques are used to symbolize the mode of actors who could be made to behave like puppets. So, in England, symbolic drama as such was uh, practiced, practiced among others by T.S. Eliot in his mother in the cathedral, which deals with the martyrdom of the Archbishop Thomas Becket in 12th century. Yeah, the theatre of absurd is also falls under the uh, symbolism or symbolic kind of words in a sense within the symbolist tradition, made famous by Samuel Beckett in his Waiting for Godot 1962. It was followed in Britain by Harold Pinter, especially in his later plays like Old Time 1971. These plays have no formal plot or characterization, and because of this, the characters seem as if they have no purpose in life, and this is the monotony and repetitiveness of life. Okay, just look on these two next expressions. First one is expressionism. Expression, expressionism, and the epicteta. tries to present the reality of the mind, the internal world rather than external reality. The external world, so it is a movement which tries to present a reality of the mind, which is expressionism. The internal world rather than external reality is the external world. So in this place, the atmosphere is dreamlike. The decor has bizarre shapes and loud colors. The plot and structure consists of a sequence of shows or incidents strung together. The characters frequently are not even given names, emphasizing their collective nature, expressing a particular social group. The dialogue is poetic, and the actor and directors the freedom to experiment. So, as we just move forward and see that expressionism is a kind of dramas, or let's say the plays which talks about internal thought process of the people, or specifically the common people, or the targeted, so we can say, criteria of the particular drama. So expressionism is the mode of presentation where we can find the thing that is present the reality of the mind, the internal world rather than external realities or the external world. त्यांना फक्त आत काय चालू आहे म्हटलं आपण आतली घुसमट बाहेर काढणं हा प्रकार त्यात असतो. इट हॅज अ ड्रीम लाईक stage, ठीक आहे, stage फक्त atmosphere is a dream like. Decor has bizarre shapes and loud colors. The plot and structure consists of the sequence of episodes or incidents strung together. म्हणजे episodes मध्ये या गोष्टी होत राहतात. So August Strindberg, which is the Ghost Sonata, I think there was a major exponent of this kind of drama. So was the Eugene O'Neill, The Hairy Age. An offshoot of expressionism is the epic theater. So it's against like the epic theater, made famous by Bertolt Brecht, which plays like Mother Courage 1941 and the Caucasian Chalk Circle. The Caucasian Chalk Circle written in 1945. Epic theater is an undramatic theater which insists on the detachment of the audience from the action on stage. This theater is a comment on the social or political conditions of other epochs, providing important information to the audience. It is anti-illusionist, where the stage became a lecture platform, a laboratory in which models of human behavior are examined, tested, and evaluated. It was a Martinez film and anatomy of drama talked about it. So after this epic theater, a word of caution: we have simplified all these concepts and terms for an easy understanding. It is not always possible to put a playwright under any one of these above labels. Okay, आता ठीक इतके लेवल आपण लावले की whether the writer is belongs to the neoclassical age or classical age or romantic age or modern age, whether it is a symbolic or expressionism or naturalist or epic theater or the expressionism. So sometimes dramatists use a combination of these approaches. Both Tennessee Williams and Arthur Miller, though predominantly realistic, also combine this expressionism in their plays. So even though they are realistic, in realistic way they use the expressionism in their play. Anton Chekhov also basically a realist, weird around to introducing symbolism in his play. So again, the combination of the realism and the symbolism. Yeah, John August Strindberg started writing historical plays, moved to realism and naturalism, and ended up with expressionism. So see, so when you read a play, keep the above guidelines in mind and see whether you can identify which mode a playwright uses. This will help in your interpretation of the play. If you look again at Tennessee Williams' The Glass Menagerie, you can see how realism and expressionism exist in a same play. So, whatever things I have told you right now, no, you can observe it while reading any play or while studying any drama. So I have to went through these all dramas, or let's say the all ideologies of the drama, all types of the dramas. Hmm. But as we just go forward and see, uh, we can find this thing, that is the drama of the time when we played it, and it has a different interpretation the literature and the literary stuff. But what you have to do, you have to, while reading any drama, while studying any drama, you have to observe which kind of drama is this, and which drama we have to see under which category this is getting swept. And again, I'm telling you that is there were writers who shifted from one type to another type, hmm, one expression to another expression. So we we also have to see this jumping from one expression to another one. We have to observe it while studying. In a single read, we must have understand which type of drama is this, the, how it is interpreted. So move aside, go forward, and try out these things. Hope you understand these all things. These all are very simple things to study. We must have went through these ideologies in our second or third year of the graduate, but eventually this will be a kind of revision, and hope you just when you study the drama, you will go through the all kind of stuff. Yeah. Anything else which you want to ask, which you want to add? Martin Esplin was the person who just talked about his Anatomy of Drama. It is a book written by him. If you just want to study a bit deep about the drama, you can go to this book. Yeah, take a 2 minutes, have a look on it, and tell me if you have any questions, anything which you want to ask, anything which you want to add. Then we discuss some more points associated with the drama.